Oh, goody.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Zombies here again. And today we're back with another Marvel Snap video. So today we have a update from Second Dinner on card acquisition. This has been a very hot topic in the last few months, and this is really the first meaningful thing we're actually hearing them talk about with it that isn't just, we hear you, we're working on it. So let's see what they have to say here. December 24 update on acquisition. As Marvel Snap grows, we've seen how acquiring cards has become progressively more difficult. Gee, shocker. Your feedback has been heard loud and clear. It's helped us identify and prioritize a number of major concerns. Overall, the lack of agency in acquiring new cards. Gee, I wonder if someone tried to point that out like a year ago. New users struggling to get to the meta faster as it takes too long to earn all of Series 3. Yes, Series 3 bloat is a very big problem for new players. Returning players struggling to catch up after missing a season or more of new cards and rewards. Yeah, that is a very big problem. There are really no catch-up mechanics in Marvel Snap. The randomness of the Spotlight cash system feels frustrating. Always has. So what are they actually doing about this? Let's see. We take these concerns seriously and are in the process of improving the ways players can acquire cards in the game. We currently have a design we think addresses many of the above issues. However, rebuilding some core aspects of Snap takes time to get right. We are in the process of gathering additional feedback on the design while the work continues in production. We don't have exact dates of completion yet, but it will take a few months. This is pretty much what I expected. If you listen to any of the things I talked about with card acquisition, I said I do not think the acquisition changes are going to be coming super soon. Probably more like mid-2025 was my earliest guesstimation. And with what they're saying here, I wouldn't be surprised if that is roughly in the ballpark of the time frame. Maybe it's slightly sooner, maybe it's slightly longer, but we do know for sure it's gonna be months away. In the meantime, we're taking some steps near term to improve quality of life around card acquisition. In January's patch, we will be doubling the drop rate of Series 3 cards in Collector's Reserves from 2 out of every 9 to 4 out of every 9. This is good. Honestly, they probably should have done this a while ago with the ever-increasing size of Series 3, and as more and more cards make their way into the game, with this year introducing an additional new card every month, the cards are just getting in there faster than ever before, so getting players through Series 3, which takes a very long time, speeding that up is just a net positive for any new player that is joining the game, or maybe even a lapsed player that has left and has a bunch of, cards they're not owning in Series 3. I'm sure that group of players isn't exactly super large. This will substantially reduce the time new players need to acquire all Series 3 cards. Yes, they're essentially doubling it, which is good. Series 3 took a long time, so cutting that in half, good thing. This is a band-aid fix, but something we can do quickly. Yeah, that's fine. Increasing the token payout from Spotlight duplicates from 1 to 2k tokens. We know there are multiple issues with the Spotlight cash system, but one of the biggest complaints is pulling a duplicate from the 4 slot with a hard-earned Spotlight key. Again, this change is a band-aid, but fairly straightforward, so we can release it quickly. Okay, is doubling the tokens good? Yes. But I think they really should have changed the weighting. If you don't know what I mean when I'm talking about that, it is the fact that the weighting on the random slot has a 66% chance to get a Series 4 card and a 33% chance to get a Series 5 card. So as Series 5 is double the size of Series 4, more people are more likely to get those Series 4 cards, either in their regular spotlights because they show up a lot, or in the random slot because they're double the odds to show up, so they're having less likelihood of getting their random to be a Series 5, which just statistically they're more likely to be missing. Really would have liked to see that change to just even 50-50, I think would have helped. But unfortunately, that doesn't seem like it is happening here. More tokens, good. Yeah, it's definitely better getting a third of a card as opposed to 1/6 of a card. No denying that. And like they said, it's a band-aid fix, so better something than nothing. But it's not like this pain point is a new thing. I feel like this has been a pain point for most of the life of Spotlight caches. So it's kind of crazy to me. It took a year and a half to see a real major change to one of the more disliked parts of the system, but as previously mentioned, we're planning an even bigger series drop in the first quarter of 2025 as well. We'll have to wait and see what that looks like. And we can see the new rates of collector's reserves here. In a group of 9 reserve pulls, there will be 4 Series 3 card reserves. If you are Series 3 complete, each one of those will have a 25% chance of being 100 tokens, a gold ticket, an avatar, and a title. I really wish they would, do away with some of the less desired things there, or at least lower the rate, but I don't think they really see any incentive to do that, even though people are not super thrilled about all the tickets and avatars and titles. But what are you going to do? 100 tokens guaranteed, 3 collector's reserves with 50% chance of 150 or 200 credits, and 1 random variant. So yeah, and this isn't going out right this second. This is going to be joining the game in the January patch, which I think is going to be in like 2 or 3 weeks or so. So yeah, my thoughts, something is better than nothing. It's nice that they're doing something in the short term because they know they can't immediately get this bigger change out the door. It also pretty much confirms to me what I thought all along, which is the reason they haven't iterated on the Spotlight system is because they're going to ditch it. We'll have to wait and see what their new system is. I don't have the greatest amount of faith in the world because economy reworks have never been their strong suit, looking at the past history. But I hope I'm wrong on that front. I would very much like them to come up with a system that feels much better for the players and eases a lot of the pretty high player concerns that are currently driving away a lot of the engaged players from Marvel Snap. My biggest concern, though, is because this takes quite a while, the longer something takes to happen, the more people expect from it. And given the previous, responses we've seen from them about the economy in their game, I just don't think they're willing to increase the card acquisition in a meaningful way enough that's going to live up to whatever people's expectations are after waiting for however many more months for an overhaul to the system. Again, would very much enjoy being wrong about that. But I do think with how they've talked in the past about how the economy seems to be hanging on by a thread, and I mean, they've said many times we can't even increase the 1,000 tokens to 2,000, and now they're doing it. So it's one of those things where it feels like they're doing this because they're being forced into doing it a bit. I really do think either one of two things happened, right? Either they've been trying for a long time to come up with a card acquisition system that is better and works out, and they just haven't been, coming up with something they think works, or they thought the current acquisition system would last for longer and give them more time. And things have really accelerated in the last few months. New competition has come out. People have become increasingly frustrated. One of the things that I think is really, not talked about enough is the game is 2 years old. People have played a lot of the game. When you've played a game for a long time, you naturally find less fun in that, and so you need something new to spark that fun. So the card acquisition issues are kind of compounded on top of that, where when people are already feeling bored, when they feel more restricted in terms of engaging new content, and there isn't too much in the way of new ways to engage with the game outside of that, they just, get bored and consider playing less or moving on entirely. And that's just something that happens as games get older. And unfortunately, because of how penny pinching the system is in Marvel Snap and how it wants you to log in every day to get those maximum free-to-play rewards, which definitely add up, people feel like they can't hop off the treadmill. They have to stay on the treadmill even if they aren't having as much fun as they used to. And that can be a pretty bad recipe for burnout, in my opinion. So when people do finally take a break and then eventually try and come back and see how rough it is trying to come back and not having access to previously released cards for a long period of time and no catch-up mechanics, usually that break turns into them staying gone forever. I've unfortunately seen that happen many, many times, probably more than I can count. So yeah, is this going to magically fix the economy? Is this going to really do a lot to quell player frustration? Unfortunately, I don't think so. But I also don't think any smaller measure like this really would do that at this point with where the community is at. So basically, something is better than nothing. I'd rather they do this than do absolutely nothing. But it's, again, just all coming back to we have to see what happens with the bigger acquisition changes. That really feels like it's going to be the make or break moment for at least the engaged online portion of the Marvel Snap player base, in my humble opinion. I'm pretty interested to see what player reception to this is going to be like. I think one thing that definitely gets a little tiring after a while is these have been issues players have been talking about for a really, really long time. And I feel like there's this tendency where it feels like kind of pulling teeth in trying to get Second Dinner to address the main pain points of their game. And it's something players just have to beat a dead horse about over and over and over again. And honestly, that just gets a bit tiring after a while. Like, the community shouldn't have to try and police them on, you know, if a change is good enough or not. You would hope that they would do enough like research and testing and figure out like, hey, this will be good enough on the first go. But that doesn't seem to be how Second Dinner does things a lot of the time, unfortunately. I'd love to hear in the comments below if you have any ideas on what their larger changes to card acquisition might be. But that's going to wrap it up for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, remember to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.